Good afternoon and good morning to the folks in the U.S. Thank you for joining Tinexta's 2021 preliminary results 2022-2024 business plan presentation. Let me start with the presentations today. I'm Joseph Mastragostino, Chief Investor Relations Officer here at Tinexta Group. Here with me today, we have the honor to have Pierandrea Chevallard, General Manager and Chief Executive Officer, Danilo Cattaneo, InfoCert CEO, Marco Comastri, Tinexta Cyber CEO, Valerio Zappalà, Innolva CEO, Fiorenzo Bellelli, Warrant Hub CEO, and Marco Sanfilippo, Comark CEO. We also have the pleasure to have our Group CFO, Oddone Pozzi. For the purpose of this presentation, I'm on slide 3 of the presentation that you all should have received. We have the agenda of today. So we will start with Pierandrea and Oddone, who will go over the state-of-the-art and 2021 preliminary results. Then Danilo will go over the business unit of Digital Trust. It will then be the turn of Marco Comastri for cybersecurity. Valerio Zappalà will give us the outlook as well as the most important information about credit information and management. And Fiorenzo Bellelli and Marco Sanfilippo will help us understand better what the outlook is in terms of innovation and marketing services. Then we will do a deep dive into the business plan itself, again, 2022-2024, starting from the pillars all the way to the shareholder return. So Oddone and I will give you a deep dive of this section of the presentation. I will wrap it up with some closing remarks, and I will leave the last section of the presentation for Q&A. And for that matter, I already anticipate the fact that you will be allowed to ask questions by raising your hand on the function of Zoom. Given that this is an official presentation, I need to go over the disclaimer. This company presentation includes preliminary figures that are subject to potential changes during the draw-up of 2021 financial statements and following its review by the Board of Statutory Auditors and the external auditors. Forward-looking data based on internal management assumptions that are subject to material changes, including changes due to external factors beyond the group's control. Management data, when present, they are identified as such. Business unit data are divisional and do not include the elimination of intra-business unit items, which are instead eliminated at a group level. For detailed information on Tinexta S.P.A, it is recommended to refer to the company's documentation, including the latest interim reports and the company's financial statements. Lastly, we also think it's extremely important to apply a great deal of caution and consider that the recent events, in particular, the rising levels of inflation, the prolonged economic uncertainty, the potential hike in interest rates, and again, the most recent and very worrying international developments, as well as the actual implementation of the PNRR, all of these elements might potentially impact the plan itself. Let me turn to page 6. You can all appreciate the history and evolution of Tinexta. Many of you who know the company very well have followed the company ever since its inception. Back in 2014, I would like to draw your attention to the 2014 EBITDA. Back in the days, the EBITDA was around 10 million euros. The preliminary results 2021 yield an EBITDA very close to about 100 million euros, so it's about tenfold. And I guess that you will all appreciate the fact that this company has grown tremendously, both in terms of organic growth as well as M&A. Going to page 7, we are glad to announce that Tinexta Business reached all planned targets. In light blue, you will see the guidance of 2021, which was issued about a year ago, around February of 2021. We had said we were going to reach revenues of about 370 million euros. The actual number came in a bit over that at 375 million euros. In terms of adjusted EBITDA, we were planning 96. The actual number is 99 million. And in terms of NFP over EBITDA adjusted, we expected to reach about 2 times, and we came in bang in line at 1.99. This number excludes CERT Europe as well as For Value. Giving you some other KPIs, net profit came in at 40 million, And free cash flow is very strong, more than 55 million. In terms of this slide, you will appreciate, we'll give you a full in-depth review of the business unit's results in terms of revenue, EBITDA, and EBITDA margin. You can see the results versus the guidance at the bottom of this slide. At this point, I will turn it over to Pierandrea, who will go over state-of-the-art results.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this conference call. I am very delighted to now go over the state-of-the-art of Tinexta Group and 2021 preliminary results highlights. Turning to slide 9. Let me start by saying that Tinexta today is stronger than before, with a great track record of growth. Two of our divisions, namely Digital Trust, Innovation and Marketing Services, command a very strong market share by being number one in their respective market segments. I would like to stress the fact that InfoCert is the number one player also in Europe, being the largest qualified trust provider by revenues. We are very proud of this, and we must say that we have come a long way since the early years of Digital Trust, Digital Identity. Digital Trust is today a very dynamic business unit. We expect to grow it even further this year in the years to come. In order to accelerate the growth and internationalization, we now have on board a partner of primary standing, Bregal Milestone. As you all recall, Bregal Milestone has completed its investment in InfoCert for a total cash consideration of 100 million euro in exchange for a minority stake of 16%. This represents an important stepping stone for InfoCert, as it will now act as a consolidator in Europe, accelerating its already strong M&A strategy. We plan to actively look for strategic assets and further develop our international expansion in Europe, in countries like France, Spain, UK, and Germany. The group is now stronger than ever before, also because it continues to focus on high-value services for small and medium enterprise. At the group level, for example, we now serve more than 52,000 SMEs, which makes us one of the strongest players in Italy. We carry out a full set of services that spread all the way from digital trust to specific and tailor-made high-value consultancy services, business information and credit management, cyber security, as well, strongly focusing on digital marketing. In 2021, and during the first months of this year, driven by the company's mission to grow, we successfully managed to complete important M&A deals by expanding both in France and in Spain. As you all are aware, in France we bought CertEurope, one of the most important players in digital trust based in Paris, which gives us further scale in the country as well as in Europe, and among all, the ability to sell our state-of-the-art products and services to a wide network of clients and customers. In Spain, instead, we bought Evalue, a key and strategic player for Warrant, which will now further expand abroad, providing tailored and highly valuable innovation consultancy services, which are of high demand given the current market condition all over Europe. It's important to also highlight that Tinexta Group operates in market segments, namely digital trust and innovation and marketing services that are witnessing very strong growth rates, and demand is at its highest. 2021 was also the year in which we consolidated and reinforced our presence in the cybersecurity market. A bit over a year ago, we decided to carry out one of the most important investments in Tinexta history, investing 100 million euros to buy the 3 companies that comprise the Tinexta cyber business unit, Yoroi, Swascan, and Corvallis. With the closing of 2021, we can say, and we are very enthusiastic about this, that we were able to reach our very ambitious goal, hitting our planned targets and signing important partnerships to grow the market even more. The cybersecurity project is an ambitious one, but we have the right team with the right people to grow more in the years to come. We want to become a key reference point in Italy for cybersecurity. We are working in this direction. Now, let me provide you with some updates on credit information and management. As you all know, in 2021, we completed a very important strategic acquisition, which involved Intesa Sanpaolo Forvalue. We substantially purchased Intesa Sanpaolo Forvalue for an exchange of 25% of Innolva, so no cash was involved. We believe this transaction will provide further growth both to credit information management as well as the group. In terms of performance, credit information management posted a very good year if compared to 2019. In fact, EBITDA adjusted grew 26% between 2019 and 2021. As you all recall, 2020 was an exceptional year, mostly driven by the request to the Central Guarantee Fund. The group today is made up of nearly 2,500 employees. We have grown very much, in particular because of the recent acquisitions. We strive to attract talent, we foster human capital growth, making our group large and diverse in terms of competencies and know-how. As far as financials are concerned, 2021 preliminary revenues came in very strong, as Joseph told before, at 375 million euros, nearly 40% versus prior year, with an EBITDA of 99 million, growing 21% versus prior year with a 26% margin. Free cash flow continued to be strong at over 55 million. Turning to slide 10, let's talk about some key important items of 2021. At a group level, we achieved further growth in most of our business units, strengthening our already strong market position. We created solid grounds for cybersecurity, obtaining key clients and contracts. The group also was very successful in expanding internationally by entering the French market in digital trust and secured a strategic partnership to grow both cybersecurity and credit information and management. In innovation and marketing services, we acquired a key strategic asset in Spain, expanding our reach much more strongly at the European level. It is our mission to continue to meet and exceed customers' needs, as well as develop adequate solutions. The 2021 guidance was an ambitious one, and based on the preliminary results, the Tinexta Group was able to reach and exceed it, while continuing to accelerate on the operating cash flow generation, which remains a top priority for us. Lastly, I think it's worthy of mention that since 2014, the group has continued growing double digits on all major KPIs, setting an annual year-on-year track record. At this point, I will leave to Oddone to further explain the numbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon, everybody. As anticipated by Joseph and Andrea, we basically achieved all targets that we set at the start of the year. In terms of revenue, as said, we grew up to 375 million, with a like-for-like basis growth in the range of 7%, perfectly aligned with the basic targets that we set at the early start of the year. The EBITDA came slightly above, also driven by the slight contribution of Cert Europe and For Value that enlarge our perimeter, but on a like-for-like basis, we overcome the last guidance that was 97 and 96, and we deliver close to 97. In terms of profitability, also the profit went up to almost 40 million euro. But if we do not consider the PPA, that is a non-cash item that we applied after the acquisition, we grew up also in this area in the range of 20%. On the net income adjustment, it grew also 20%. You will see when we will publish the results. So we are very happy to have achieved all the targets, and the targets in terms of P&L, but as well as in terms of free cash flow. Our free cash flow grew up over 25 million, achieving the targets and helping us to continue to generate cash in order to lower the ratio net debt of the net debt on the EBITDA, helping us in delivering our strategy of M&A. As already anticipated, you may see here how strong has been the growth of the group over the history, basically from 2014. This growth has been also accelerated, is a continued growth on a like-for-like basis, but also during 2021, as anticipated by Pier Andrea, with the acquisition of the cybersecurity and the acquisition of a digital marketing company in the innovation marketing services, we were able even to accelerate. This acceleration in terms of revenue continue also in EBITDA, as we were able to bring a further profitability there, and we are already, before the last acquisition we completed at the end of 21 and early 22, we are already at level of 100 million euro in terms of EBITDA adjustment. Net financial position, as you will see, has a curve that when we invest, the debt is going up, what the cash generated by the operation is continuing to deleverage the company. Last year, we reached 91 million, that was, just above 1 time. We completed during the year acquisition for 200 million euro, and so the debt went up to 263, but the acquisition of Cert Europe that would have been partially financed through the share capital following the agreement with Bregal Milestone has occurred during the month of February. On a like-for-like basis, we'll say the net financial position would have been below 200 million with a ratio that is slightly below 2 times. Here you may, here as anticipated, during 2021, we performed several significant acquisitions, and all the acquisition basically confirmed the target that we set at the time of the acquisition. We will talk later on, but the cybersecurity, that was the largest investment of the group, has confirmed to achieve during 2021 the results set in the early stage, as well as Querio has delivered a very promising results. Cert Europe has been the acquisition for 76 million that occurred just in the last 2 months of the year, but already in the last 2 months, the company was able to deliver good results. We distributed through the year 12 million euro dividends, and we have some adjustment on put and earn-out, driven by the fact that the plans of the company we acquire are improving, and therefore this adjustment has been needed. We continue in purchase our treasury stock to serve the stock option plan during the year. The free cash flow after a 2020, where we were able to deliver material cash from the management of the working capital, during 2021 has been very strong. We have to consider that during 2021, we have the cash out of payment of the taxes that we basically we heard during the results of 2020, and this is one of the reasons why the free cash flow is lower, but still there is a very strong conversion because it's well above 50% of the EBITDA. And this trend is continuing through the years. The group has, maybe you can go to the next one. Yes. Here, Pierandrea talked about the track record of the group through the years, and I mentioned when I talk about the curve of the net financial position. You may see here how active has been the group in the past, but if we just focus over the last 18 months, you have seen that we have delivered quite significant number of acquisitions. In September 20, we entered the German market with Authada, is a minority through InfoCert, but is setting up the base for potential further growth in Germany. And always in digital trust, last year, before the end of the year, we completed the acquisition of CertEurope, that is an important milestone in our strategy going abroad. Last year, 1 year ago, we completed acquisition of 3 companies in the cybersecurity. This has been the largest investment in the range of 100 million euro, and we are very glad that the results of 2021 has been delivered perfectly accordingly to the results that we envisaged in the first part of the year. We completed also an important MOU with the Leonardo Group that will help us to have agreements enter into to support digitalization of SMEs. Also in credit information and management, we made some M&A deals. FBS Next is a minority interest in a company that is active in providing credit servicing, basically on NPL and partially on UTPs, while with Intesa Sanpaolo, basically, we exchange the 25% of Innolva with 100% of Forvalue. This is a very important step in our strategy to enlarge the base of our customer and to having access in a lot of new customer, especially in the small and medium enterprises. Innovation and marketing services, as shared during last year plan 21-23, also we are aiming to go abroad in this area and to develop an international business. We started in late 2020 with the acquisition of Euroquality in France. That has been a first step, and also this company was able to deliver exactly the results that we committed when we performed the investment, as well as Querio. Querio is critically important as the first step into the digital marketing area, and this is an important area of activity, and that then Marco will explain much better, but there is a full integration with Comar that is undergoing, but also the results that we set were delivered during 2021. Last was the acquisition of Evalue. Is the first step of Warrant, the second step of Warrant outside Italy. Evalue is a company active in the consultancies for innovation in Spain, is among the leader company there, and we completed the acquisition just in the last January. As you may see here, the group has performed 27 M&A deals since 2013 with a total investment of 450 million. But as you may see here, the acceleration over the last 18 months has been increased quite significantly, and we are delivering the results that were at the base of our investment. Thank you. I leave you to Joseph.
Thank you, Oddone. It's now Danilo's turn, who will give us an outlook of the Digital Trust business unit. Danilo.
Thank you, Joseph, and good afternoon, everybody, from me as well. This first slide, a bit full, I will underline the main characteristic of the Digital Trust business unit. First of all, what we do. The mission of the group the mission of the digital trust is to transform in digital for our customer the processes, keeping full legal value. And we want to keep our unique distinguishedness to do it in an innovative way. As you can imagine, especially interacting with customers is more and more important to do it digitally, remotely, and in an effective way. We operate through 5 different brands. InfoCert is the largest, but then we have also CertEurope and Camerfirma, respectively, for the French and Spanish market, and then Visura and Sixtema that are key to penetrate some very specific markets, namely the professional and the SME. We are very happy of the results we achieved in the year that is just finished. First of all, we expanded internationally. We covered more than 30 countries with our solution, and even in the very end of the year, we were awarded some tender for multinational banks that should increase this number in the months to come. We also expanded the number of patents that we are proud to have. We have more than 20 patents, and not all the innovative software we produce can be patented. This is just an indicator of how much care we have for innovation together with our largest customer. More and more number, we have more than 8 million active users and more than 5,000 enterprise customers. Some other key facts of the 2021. First of all, the expansion. We completed the CertEurope operation, as has just been mentioned by my colleagues. We also completed a strategic partnership. We are working together with Bregal that is helping us not only with capital, but most importantly with their network in providing more targets to continue our expansion also for merger and acquisition operation. Also, we invested in creating another organizational unit that is taking care of the web and inside sales. That for us is absolutely important to present to the market our products that can be also addressing mid-sized company with this unit. What's next for 2022? Our strategy is very similar to what we made in the last year. So we will consolidate the new business unit we created from the organizational perspective, and we also invest with a new business unit that will take care about very large alliance, so international system integrator, especially because, as been mentioned, there is the next generation EU funds in both Italy and the rest of Europe, and we want to help system integrator using our digital trust solution in making the digital transformation fast and effective. We are also working actively right now in a further operation for M&A operation and also joint venture with some large operators. Talking about a public sector operator that is not possible to buy, but they are very fond of our technology, so we'll find a way to penetrate some customer with, let's say, joint venture transaction or partnership, important partnership. Last but not least, we will be working with strategic partnerships. So we created early this year, in January, an open innovation initiative that will attract with our API portfolio, with our expert consulting, some very interesting startups. So in an open innovation method, we help them use our technology and they help our customer to innovate. Also in the group cross-sell, we have something that we initiated in 2021, but we are investing actively in the beginning of this year, that is especially in integration with cybersecurity. Once that we invested in, as has been mentioned in 2021, in 3 important companies on cybersecurity segment, and we all know how is important the cybersecurity for all solution, especially for digital trust solution, we are integrating our best-selling products with these technologies because we want to be a safe place for all our customers of any size. If we go next, what I just mentioned as a key factor 2021 has been also noted by major analysts. So we are proud to show on the left of this slide the latest report of IDC for the e-signature. This is from November 21, and IDC mentioned InfoCert among the 3 leaders, just after the 2 US giants that are Adobe and DocuSign, and only European provider in this space. But also Gardner mentioned InfoCert, for example, in the digital identity, among the 10 top leader in the world, the only one outside US. So we are actively working with these analysts in showing how much innovation we do with our largest customer and what is the future of our solutions. Even from the size point of view, these are a couple of diagrams of what we represent for Italy. We are roughly at 50% of the market and growing fast. So we are proud that our solution on both the off-the-shelf space and especially the enterprise space are growing really fast, and this is important. From the European point of view, this is an analysis from the consolidated number from 2019 from an external advisor. InfoCert should be the largest. Should is because DocuSign and Adobe don't publish European numbers, but we know how many tenders we participate, how many tenders we win, and should be absolutely reasonable, this analysis. Nice to mention that we added CertEurope, that is among the top player in this analysis. So InfoCert revenues now are the sum of what is leftmost column and what is rightmost column. What is basically the way we address the market, especially the way we let our solution evolve? Basically, we started from digital identity. Digital identity means having a proof of identity for people, having the way of using this identity with our enterprise customers. So onboarding for digital banking, consumer credit management, contract signing. But then we evolved this way of using identity for person from the identity also for legal entities, so for companies, and recently also machine ID, that is basically using the same kind of technology, but instead of giving a digital identity and a digital signature to a human, so can exchange, for example, a signed PDF document between humans, we use the same technology and the same trust processes to give an identity and a signature to a software agent. So in the Internet of Things world, instead of using an exchange of a PDF, they exchange data, exchange technically an XML file. We can assure the one receiving this data where this data came from, so the identity of the agent that signed the data, and then nobody in between changed this stuff. Of course, from the identity space, we create value in our customers, especially very large enterprise customers in the B2B2C model, helping them making transactions. Once they have the digital identity and the digital signature of their customer, for example, or their supplier, they can exchange transaction in a safe way, digitally and remotely. And we all know that from March 2020, how is important to be able to don't stop transaction even if people cannot meet in person. Of course, we have even more complex line of business, for example, electronic invoicing, long-term archiving, registry delivery, that are not talking about identity, but still are helping companies in exchanging data remotely, digitally, and in a safe way. This is just a snapshot of some brands we are serving. Interesting to say, in the last year, we grew in the number of very large enterprises, especially European brands, but not only. We are also have important active customer that asked us to follow them outside Europe. For example, Enel is the largest utility in Italy, but they operate with 30 million customers in Italy and 30 million customers outside Italy. And for example, this large utility, with our help, is making their business digitally also in Latin America and in the Far East. Also, some other banks are operating, as you can imagine, in Europe, but outside Europe. I just want to mention a couple of the brands on this slide, especially the one that we achieved in the last quarter of 2021, and it will give us solid recurring revenues in the year to come. Revolut, as you know, is an interesting challenger bank that awarded us a tender to be served in many countries in Europe and is starting the deployment. Stellantis, of course, is, as you know, a joint venture between Italian and French car manufacturer, and awarded us a very innovative way of using our technology to serve their customer remotely and digitally. Last but not least, we are also serving some very large public sector bodies that after the COVID decided that the same way the banks went digital in the interaction with customers, they want to serve citizens in a digital way. And you have a very important reference for the moment in one of the largest agency of Italian Ministry of Finance, but we are discussing also abroad to use the same technology to extend this kind of solution. On the very top line, we, as you can see, are growing in the different vertical segment in a significant way. Also, in this slide, I want to highlight that we started many years ago with off-the-shelf products, basically very simple solution, just a digital signature of a registered email. But more and more, we are growing, especially outside Italy, with enterprise solution that now are the fastest growing and the largest part of our business. Interesting to say, both of this kind of solution have a solid recurring revenues model. And as Oddone has anticipated, also most of them have payments that are yearly in advance. So they also help to create a solid cash flow. That helps us also continue investing, and so is a virtuous system. We are growing, absolutely. We'll see more numbers in the next presentation, but also our market is growing. Especially after the COVID, there has been an acceleration of this growth. These are some of the market in which the analysts consider as significant part, especially in Europe. So we're talking about the digital transaction management, the ability of creating transaction with the counterparts of a company remotely and digitally, but also the digital identity and the digital signature that have been accelerating. They're widespread in Europe in the recent years, are a significant part of this market, and we are addressing both segments. What is our business plan for the 3 years to come? This is very similar to what we have done last couple of years. So we'll be concentrating, first of all, on international growth. We are growing double digit in the last 10 years, but we are growing very high double digit outside Italy, because of course our solution has proven to be very innovative outside, while in Italy most large customers are already using our solution. So we will consolidate both organic growth and our presence outside Italy with also M&A acquisition. We will improve our offer completion. We are still investing on our technology, as I mentioned, including cybersecurity features that our competitors still are not focusing on. We will always include the latest evolution of the regulation, especially at the European level. We are collaborating with Italian and European regulators to evolve the legislation. And of course, we will also use this innovation to innovate our solution and to create value for our customers. Starting in 2022, we are an increasing focus on ESG products offering, because some of our largest customers mentioned it to me that we were the only supplier that was present in their ESG reporting in all the 3 categories: environment, social, and governance. Now we are standardizing this kind of reporting, so we can explain our customer how much they are improving in the ESG rating using our solution. And this also will be important for mid-sized customers. Last but not least, we are improving our effectiveness in terms of resiliency, security, scalability, especially abroad, and also the effectiveness of our channels that are focusing on small and medium-sized customers. In a nutshell, some other facts on these strategies. So again, our presence in Europe in this moment is active in the blue-colored countries in this graph, and we are actively working on some other countries for M&A operation outside these 3. In other countries, we have a commercial presence. In other countries, we are creating solid partnership. What about the products? We are, as I mentioned, innovating a lot, but usually 1 year or 2 after a patent is released, we can offer a new product. This will be true, especially in the wearable space, in the evolution of digital identity, following, in some cases, influencing the evolution of the regulation at European level. And innovating with some of our largest customers, we are also creating products that are tailored for a specific vertical segment, namely pharma, banking, and utilities. Again, on the right of this slide, you can see our new target. We are very active on the very large enterprises, but we are creating a new approach to the market to be effective. Also on the mid-sized customer, as I mentioned, it is the web e-commerce and remote selling. As though we are working on this segment on both the sales force, but also in creating solutions that are, let's say, easy to implement for a small company, but still creating value. My last slide wants to explain a few facts about our recent acquisition of CertEurope that, as mentioned, it has been started last summer, but completed with the closing early November. CertEurope is the leader in the RGS certificates for the French market. Why we made this acquisition? Because they, of course, are serving most of the large and mid-sized company in France. And with their acquisition, we obtained immediately two advantages. One is a recognized brand, because even if our solutions are, let's say, well known, because we are serving also some French banks outside France, but still our large customer wants a local brand and the local support sales and post-sales people. Also, they are important because they have all the certification required at the French level. Some certification at the European level, and of course InfoCert has all of them. Some are the country level, and they have all of it. So they will accelerate our penetration on the market. And we will accelerate, let's say, their evolution. Just to mention, in December, they started using some of our technology to streamline and to make improve the effectiveness of their business. So not only they will be reselling to large customers our solution, but they will sell their certificates and some other certificates that are produced from Italy for all over Europe in an effective way. So if you see in the very last slide, they are already a very effective company with significant EBITDA margin. But together we want to improve their margin on both percentage KPI and, of course, absolute value. So we are sure that this acquisition will accelerate our effectiveness in Europe, not only in France, but all the French-speaking countries. With this, I give the word back to... Oh, sorry.
Grazie. Thank you.
Oddone will explain this.
Thank you, Danilo. You know, we have seen through the presentation of Danilo how large, strong, and deep is the offering and the plans of InfoCert and the Digital Trust division. Well, the plan here, you know, after a very solid growth that occurred in the last years, is to even grow faster. So in terms of revenue, on a like-for-like basis, Digital Trust is planning to grow on a 10% compound average rate. It is a very strong rate, and including the acquisition of CertEurope and the growth of CertEurope, the growth is expected to be in the range of 14% at the compound average growth rate. The profitability level that already during 2021 has increased quite significantly, overperforming the growth of the revenue, is also expected to grow faster than the revenue. You know, the operating leverage that Danilo with his team are going to deliver is planning to deliver an EBITDA growth in the range of 14% per year over the next 3 years. So it's a very, very challenging target, but, you know, based on the history, based on the capability of InfoCert and the Digital Trust business unit, we are very confident to deliver this. If we add CertEurope, that as Danilo mentioned, has a profitability even higher than InfoCert, we do expect to deliver a growth in terms of EBITDA not far from the 20% over the next 3 years. So, you know, very, very challenging, but, you know, strong targets. Thank you, Joseph. Please.
Thank you, Don. At this point, it will be Marco's turn with cybersecurity.
Good afternoon. During the next 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about the cybersecurity business unit of Tinexta, which I have the pleasure to lead as the CEO of Tinexta Cyber. 1 year ago, we started this new venture in the growing Italian market of cybersecurity throughout the acquisitions of 3 companies, Corvallis, Yoroi, and Swascan. Our aim is to become the national hub for cybersecurity digital services and create a domestic, distinguished center of competence to support large and small enterprise for a safe digital transition. We continue to operate in the market with the 3 brands, Corvallis, Yoroi, and Swascan, with a common portfolio of offering that you can see here in this picture. And this is based on 4 major areas: advisory, where we provide consulting, audit and risk assessment, education, crisis management, products and implementation services, where we operate in the following areas: infrastructure protections, identity and access management, network protection, application security, data security, cloud security, and IoT. And then we have managed services, where through our assets, we deliver security operation services to several companies. The business performance is in line with our expectation, and for the next 3 years, these are the main priorities. Number 1 is to develop and continue to develop an asset-based offering to be delivered on demand and as a software as a service. This kind of digital services will be the right way to serve the customer needs. The second is to strengthen our leadership in each of the areas of the offering that I just mentioned. The third is to become a reference in the implementation services to deliver projects that are very much needed by the market in the space of cybersecurity, also for the recent political developments. And the fourth is to expand our current offering in the new areas like IoT and cloud security. Going to the next slide, we can see the Italian market, and we can see that it's steadily growing with a compound growth rate of 8%. And this is in line with the European market. During the last year, we have also experienced a catch-up activity of the Italian market versus the other mature economies of Europe. And in my opinion, this is going to stay for the next future. The other good news, I think it's when we consider our portfolio, the addressable market, it's addressing the vast majority of the market. And we have estimated in excess of 75%. The growing trend is sustained by emerging sophisticated risks like the advanced persistent threats, by the pervasive public and private cloud adoption, and by the proliferation of any type of access point which multiply the potential risks. Going to the next slide, I'm trying to give you as a snapshot the strategic growth lines for our plans. And I'd like to mention, starting from the bottom right of this slide, for the go-to-market, we are continually managing the rules of engagement for the companies in order to limit the overlap. And we want to develop strategic partnership in order to position ourselves at best to capture the large opportunity represented by the PNRR, or the investment of the Italian government in the space of cybersecurity and digital transformation. For the operational excellence, let me go company by company. Number one, Corvallis. Let's continue the transition with Corvallis from time and material to project-based, and the shift to project to security of cyber security projects. Yoroi will enhance its offering of the Defense Center, which is already certified with trusted introducer at the 3rd level, and it's going to position in the market our innovative platform of the Cyber Exposure Index, powered by the Innolva technology also, that serve for the supply chain verification. Yoroi will continue also, as indicated by Danilo, to position in the market the legal mail with the sandbox, which are gonna enhance our value through the customer of InfoCert. Swascan is going to extend the cloud services and vulnerability assessment together with the penetration test and the threat intelligence. This cloud-based platform, it's unique at European level, and last year we have addressed hundreds of customers, and in the next 3 years we will shift to thousands of customers through the technology and the platform of SaaS. For governance, we have established periodic reviews with KPIs, benchmarking our performance with the best of breed, and last but not least, for the human resources, which is probably the most articulated of our challenges, we continue to attract talent from the market, leveraging our national footprint, and we want to reinforce the internal academy of Corvallis. Just last year, we have created 27 new profiles in cybersecurity, and this number will double year after year with the internal academy. Just going to the last slide, this is the summary of what I just described. You can see here the expected revenue growth and the expected EBITDA growth. The revenue growth is going to be positioned in the range of 19%, and for the EBITDA in excess of 30%. Thank you very much, and I will pass the stage to Valerio.
Thank you, Marco. At this point, it will be Valerio's turn, who will go over credit information management. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon, everybody. So bear with me. I speak Italian. First slide. You can see a summary of the main results and what we will be working on next year. And we basically offer 4 lines of services: business information and credit management, end-to-end real estate, and business process outsourcing within the services toward the Central Guarantee Fund. And main brands Innolva, Rivaluta, and For Value as of last July. With regards to the accomplishments 2021, we worked in line with the plan of last year and of the previous years in terms of innovation of our offer. And we invested in a MarTech platform through the acquisition of a startup company. And then we developed an offer that is unique and stands out in terms of ESG features. We developed vertical metrics and analytics to manage risk and credit collection, especially in hedging collaterals for financing purposes, and the acquisition of For Value as a commercial hub was fundamental to support SMEs in seizing all the opportunities offered by the PNRR. We reinforced our positioning in the world of large customers and also financial institutions. And then we also developed and established commercial partnerships to provide PSD2 integrated services for credit scoring and also financial contract execution. in partnership with InfoCert and InfoCert services that are fully integrated with Innova's databases. What do we expect in terms of 2022? The main driver at the basis of our strategy is support for our customers in the case of twin transformation, supporting our clients in providing and developing the strategy through digitalization sustainability assets. How do we want to do this? We want to do this by keeping on investing in rewarding services, a solution already made available to the market, which is paying back, and with the vertical positioning in service markets in the area of marketing services, then the increase in the world of SMEs through the acquisition of For Value, the commercial channel of For Value, where we want to enhance Innova's offer, but the offer of all the companies of the Tinexta group. And then we want to keep on focusing, and this was a reason to be proud, keep on focusing on large corporate entities, but also institutions, because this year we participated in various bids of corporations, and success was achieved through Innova, and we are working on a set of indicators in the world of ESG, not just having to do with territorial elements, but also natural persons. The area where we act is an area that is changing. It is changing in the wake of the pandemic, and we hope that the last few blows were felt in the past few months. It had an impact in 2021. You see a set of novelties, alternative finance, for example, supply chain in the finance world, MUOs, and so on and so forth. There's a shift of our services toward behavioral indicators. And this leads us to focus on the quality of data and also the interpretation of data made available for our clients. PNRR, it's another element of evolution of this market, because it will lead investments in the field of sustainability. And from this perspective, we don't have a reference framework. And how can I say? We have to be clear in the interpretation of such data. And as our shareholding is represented by institutions, we can act as a driving force in this market, and that's the way we are working. We work based on scoring and not questionnaires, because in our opinion, questionnaires are not consistent with the expectations of our clients, especially in terms of delivery times. Then another theme that some way or another we are monitoring is the demand for marketing services, because there's an expectation that the country and all companies will start again. And we have developed a platform that wants to democratize this set of tools for PMEs, SMEs. And this platform was based on in artificial intelligence algorithms, and it's following this direction. With regards to credit management, instead, you have to control end-to-end credit from the beginning, the moment of origination, and you have to do that with a logic of data analysis that should drive the management of credit itself. And in this unit, integration of the processes of our clients, be they finance, corporate clients, is fundamental. Then another theme is represented by MP management, and in Italy it is one of the most important markets. We have to provide services to support our clients in this market. We have to provide analytical data to have consistency in the assessment of such portfolios. We have a set of offers and tools that follow this direction. And the credit information and management at this point.
As to BPOs, so we will shift from process outsourcing to process management. So we are managing in an increasingly proactive way an offering to manage the process end to end, and also in providing an IT platform to our clients who wants to insource, manage and insource this activity. So in 2021, we have launched several initiatives, so we have already talked about them. I would like to focus on a couple of aspects, in particular the initiatives in technology market through the acquisition of stakes in YC startup. So this has reached Inbova and Tinexta with artificial intelligence know-how. We have launched this in November, and already in the last 1.5 months of last year, this has resulted in several new contracts signed. We have developed an ESG platform, and we have around 325 million features here, ESG related features to offer to companies. This is a big asset we are working on. We want to expand this offering, and we are adopting a comprehensive approach for the portfolio risk management on customer side and both sides. So as to the finance market, we have developed industry services, vertical services. I'm referring here to AI-based services to forecast market value of collaterals in the real estate market industry. This is a service for banks, which is highly appreciated. We are developing commercial partnerships so as to offer PSD2 and blockchain-based onboarding and creditworthiness processes to support the digitalization of the banking ecosystem. And we have invested in a platform, in a service platform, focusing on the integration of this platform into the specific processes of our client companies, in case some of our clients need a more technological type of service from us. We have, I've already mentioned YC as an acquisition, then another acquisition that's already been mentioned, I'm referring to For Value. For Value has a high potential, and then Revaluta is another important brand in the credit information and management segment. Revaluta has had very important results, has recorded very good results in 2021. It has strengthened and extended its collaboration with all primary lending institutions in Italy. It is actively pursuing new prospects. It has worked activated loan origination monitoring and AVM, and it has invested on advisory services through commercial partnerships and with a so this strategy confirms the set of initiatives which are listed that are listed on the right-hand side. So pervasive data integration, I'd like to focus on this. This is very important for the Tinexta group. We intend to work more in focusing our offering on small and medium-sized enterprises, providing services for these companies, allowing them to grow. And as to Revaluta, its strategy is linked to advisory services. And we want here to leverage on commercial agreements. And another goal is to invest in projects which in projects similar to a recent one, for example, in the EBA LOM service area. And Revaluta has recently finalized an agreement with the UniCredit. My last slide, certainly contains information that has already been hinted at. It refers to the deal between Tinexta and Intesa Sanpaolo. So it was a deal that did not involve any capital. So Innolva has acquired 100% of for value, and Intesa Sanpaolo has acquired 25% of Tinexta. So of Innolva at 55 million euros. So this is an important step. We want to certainly tailor our Tinexta services to the needs of SMEs, and this will certainly strongly contribute to the group EBITDA over the next few years. It will certainly be beneficial to cross-selling and cross-pollination among business units, and it will allow us to exploit further opportunities thanks to the network strength.
Financials of credit information and management.
Okay, thank you, Valerio. Thank you, Joseph. I think, from the presentation of Valerio, we got it, the level and the number of actions that we already set in order to achieve the targets of the plan. I will just invite you to look a little bit back because as you may see here, basically the credit information and management business unit was able over the last four years basically to significantly improve the profitability. So the results of 2021 that was landing in terms of revenue and 75 million euro, that was basically aligned with over the last 3 years, marked up an EBITDA at 22 million that is materially above the 2019, where the EBITDA margin was 24%. The 2020 was reached a number of above 23.5 million, but was, got the help from the business process outsourcing from Center Fund of Guarantee. But, this was a quite unique and extraordinary situation. But the division is continue to improve the profitability and landed at 22 million, that is something like 29%, that is an extremely strong performance. Over the next 3 years, the results of 2020 were also helped by the very strong performance from Revaluta, that help to achieve these numbers. But over the next 3 years, we do expect to be able to overperform compared to the market that we assume is probably the most mature market where Tinexta is operating. But we do believe that we have the opportunity to grow at the 6% revenue growth and the EBITDA going up basically 1 million euro per year, that it means 5% per year. Still is a challenging target, but we do believe also looking what we have been able to do over the last 4 years, that this is something that we may deliver over the next 3 years.
Thank you, Done. At this point, we will turn the floor to Innovation and Marketing Services. It will be Fiorenzo together with Marco that will walk us through Warrant Hub and Comark. Fiorenzo.
Grazie Joseph, buon pomeriggio.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon. I will speak Italian because my English is not as good as my colleagues. So I will delve into the Innovation Marketing Services business unit. That is eValue and Warrant Hub. eValue has been recently acquired in Spain, and we also have Comark and Querio. These are the 4 major companies in this business unit. 2021 was a very positive year for Innovation and Marketing Services because we succeeded in increasing our market shares, in keeping our EBITDA unchanged in spite of the fact of the many changes taking place at a regulatory level, for example. And so this showed that our people were able to adjust to the changes and to start or consider new business activities that were not planned, and that were managing and offsetting some decreases experienced in other areas. So we were able to manage very well all contributions for the reevaluation of material and immaterial assets. We have consolidated our activities, consolidate our activities on regional tenders and activities related to European funds. And we also operated well with regional tenders, also through the Financial FSC Lab company, a company operating in the SMEs market, that is comprised of very small companies from 1 to 4 million euros turnover. So we are happy. We are happy with the response response given by our people. Then Wire, we have created Wire, Warrant Innovation Research Europe. We were able to bring the companies acquired at the end of 2020 were together. That is Euroquality in France, Europroject in Bulgaria, then the Bologna-based company, our Bologna-based company, and a company in Belgium. So these 4 companies worked very well in a synergistic way, and we were able to double our sales volumes as to business volumes for European projects, and European funds will be an important source to fund industrial development in Europe and in Italy. And so also, as well, we think we will be able to perform well also in sustainability related projects and services. We've started this year to launch a new proposition on sustainability services, and And this also has been facilitated by the acquisition of a boutique company, high quality boutique company in Turin. They specialize in sustainability balance sheets and report an increasing number of companies will certainly be called to include this aspect in their reports, in their financial statements and balance sheets. This will be important to acquire funds and loans. We, together with Comer, we have continued supporting small and medium-sized enterprises in their efforts for internationalization. We have also carried out digital marketing activities. So what do we expect in 2022? 2022 will be characterized by big changes at a regulatory level. We are not afraid, however, this will certainly push us to work even better. So some percentages as to contributions and loans, non-refundable loans will change, and also there will be increasing competition on tax incentive services due to the new 4.0 transition plan. And although we are with the resiliency plan, everybody's talking about this plan. So we have a lot of competition from like chartered accountants or firms and firms that have always focused on facilitated financing. So we will leverage on our experience to provide best possible support to companies, enterprises. So through eValue, a Spanish company we have recently acquired, it is a very good company, strongly growing. We will be able to assist companies, clients in France, in this market, in France, in their investment activities and growth initiatives, and will be able to also bring to develop this sustainability aspect in Spain. So do what we have already done with the Wire project. Between the end of last year and the beginning of this year, we have strengthened cooperation with Italian banks for services linked to the Industry 4.0 and 4.0 transition plan, and issue linked to the PNRR plan and sustainability. We have developed services, digital marketing services in the SMEs market with FOValue, the company controlled by Innolva. As to 2021, so subsidized finance, as I told, so we have offset, so subsidized finance grew notwithstanding current economic framework, and we were able to offset with these activities, so the decline in other activities. And we have continued our activities in the digital innovation of processes. We have in 2020, we launched the training sector, and this was a good move because it will contribute to turnover in 2022 for 3 million euro, because there will be considerable need for training, considering all the changes. Then corporate finance, activities here declined because there has been a decline in funding in loans. In those loans granted that banks granted in 2020, because now there are other sources. So all other services continue to grow. And this is another very positive element, because we were able to so we were lucky because we did not focus only on subsidized finance. As to market dynamics, we can say that subsidized finance still is a point of reference for us, an important one. And also tax incentives will remain important. All the various services we can provide together with subsidized finance differentiate us on the market. The market will continue to grow more and more competitive.
We believe we can work well on sustainability because a lot of attention, especially by banks and also by, how can I say, bigger sized enterprises, attention is devoted to sustainability, and also incentives, so-called eco bonus, and also regeneration of our urban assets. Also, in this case, we have positive signs for 2022, but also 2023. Then there are regulatory conditions. Unlike other countries, just like Spain and Germany, we don't have an industrial policy that keeps stable rules. And we have the possibility this year, and fortunately so, one of the first few times Industry 4.0, the new patent box. Yes, it's true that they removed the old patent box, and it's negative for us, but they've introduced a new form of patent box, and it is expected to last till 2026. And so for us, it becomes an important element to serve all of those clients that we served in the case of the old patent box, but to acquire new market shares, because we have highly skilled professionals for this purpose. We are confident about it. And at the moment, I believe that the budget law approved for 2022, and laws change every year, but in Italy for 2024, there's a decrease in the tax rates of tax income. And however, we have already taken moves. We started a digitalization process, a process of digitalization of our processes, and the objective is to reduce by 60% time to fulfill our projects in the field of research, innovation, and development. despite the changes in 2024, we're not concerned because our intention is to pursue new business lines having to do with sustainability, just like I told you before, but also prevention of enterprise crises. It's another deeply felt theme. And then we will have the funds coming from the European Union. Then, with regards to the strategy that we may want to pursue next year and for the following years, we believe that a positive repercussion can be represented by sustainability and also the integration of those business areas we have inside the Warrant Hub so that we can provide our clients with full services. We're not present in the market as a supplier of single solutions, but would like our clients to understand that they can take every opportunity and because our clients don't exploit all the opportunities because they don't have a full landscape in front of their eyes. And we also want to increase the number of clients because we have a distinctive approach in the market compared to other competitors, especially smaller scale competitors. For the rest, we rely on internal cross-selling. What would like to do with commerce, but also for value. And we expect, apart from Comark, fair value to inform us about a high number of companies, a referral system, whereby we can increase the number of clients we can serve to create an even higher degree of efficiency inside our company because we have ample space for improvement of the results achieved so far. So, we're confident. We're confident from this perspective. Just like I told you before, in the case of expansion, we aimed at relationships. Apart from what is listed here, Intesa Sanpaolo, Credit Agricole, Credem, a historical collaboration that has been going on for more than 10 years. Unicredit, Cassa Centrale, Banca MPS, Montepaschi Siena. So, with all of such institutions, I believe that we have started well, especially in the month of February. It was a highly positive month to assist their clients, especially in terms of RRP and subsidized finance. And we closely monitor as one of our subsidiaries, Warrant Innovation Services, that devotes so much attention to digitalization of enterprises. We are considering possible merger and acquisition deals in this specific field because we believe that in the next few years, our medium-sized enterprises will be obliged by the market in the wake of what happened with the pandemic, but to keep on being competitive in the market, to go towards digitalization of our processes. And we have to be present in this sector. We are considering the situation to be present in this type of market. With regards to internationalization, just like I told you before, we are already present in Spain, and we believe that we can have a cross-selling activity with Spain and also in France. In France, there's the possibility to work well with euro quality. The French market is one of those markets where we try to identify and detect opportunities and merger and acquisition deals to become a European player. With regard to the deal closed with eValue, we acquired 70% of this company, of eValue, and the partners will stay in the company till 2025 to guarantee continuity of work and to guarantee continuity of growth. There's a good feeling with the new members, the new partners, and we want to work with them in the perspective of the internationalization process pursued by Tinexta 2 years ago already. We believe we can exploit every commercial development that we have, they have, and work well with them in the field of European finance. Spain is one of those countries that can use European funds at best. And the deal was closed in January, and we are already starting to reap benefits because we have exchanged clients and we have already worked with them. The total investment for the deal is 30.9 million euros. 20.6 million euros were given 70%, including the pro rata financial debt equal to 0.4 million euros, then put option 2024, 4.9 million, and 2026, 5.4 million euros. eValue is a highly appreciated company in the Spanish market for its quality of service. It has offices in Valencia, Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, and Murcia. The company in 2020 reported revenues of 8.5 million euros with a growth of 17.6% compared to the previous year, and 4.3 million EBITDA, 50% EBITDA that was kept at the same levels also for 2021. In the phase of the approval of financial statements, 10 million euros, 50% EBITDA. It will be up to us to have the ability to develop this acquisition well. It's a very important acquisition for us. At this point, I'd like to give the floor to Marco Sanfilippo so that he will speak about the other important activity, Comark, the Comark group, and Quirio. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon to everybody. Within the innovation and marketing business unit, as Fiorenzo mentioned in his opening line, we can see basically two trends that define today Commerce Group. The first one is on the sales and marketing consulting service, which basically comprises the support for national and international marketing and sales growth that we offer through our temporary management and proprietary tools. Basically, in 2020, as you may remember, we suffered from the peak of pandemic restrictions, whilst in 2021, we saw strong growth that de facto guaranteed a full rebound to 2019 levels. On the second side, on the digital marketing services, that comprises digital performance marketing, e-commerce setup, search engine optimization, and digital advertising management, showed in 2020 a strong growth. In this case, was positively affected by the pandemic restrictions. And in 2021, we saw a continuous improvement confirming what happened in 2020. The pandemic has nonetheless determined a swift of budgets from traditional media to digital marketing, and 2021 results appear to confirm that this swift is for good. What we're seeing is that the Italian market is trying and actually somehow filling the gap with its international peers. And in fact, as we know that in 2020, e-commerce growth was more than 30% over 2019, and we'll see what happened in 2021. Large-scale retailers have rapidly swifted from traditional marketing to digital marketing, and a lot of small and medium enterprises started the new journey online. Within sectors, business to business has grown pretty rapidly, actually exceeding business to consumer online retail sales. Hence, what we're seeing is that in a market that is characterized by a strong technological drive, the mission for Coma Group is to enable the growth of SMEs in their marketing and sales growth pattern, adopting best-in-class operating models and enabling the digital solution. Nevertheless, even if the digital environment is key to provide growth for our clients, in 2024, so the end of our 3-year program, more than 3/4 of purchases will still be offline. Hence, it is clear that succeeding clients are adopting and will, for the foreseeable future, adopt an omni-channel strategy. If you can move to the second, thank you very much. If you focus for a second on the online purchases, that includes own and third parties e-commerce platforms, we can see that in the pre-pandemic scenario, we had over 30 billion, slightly over 30 billion sales, out of which 18 were on products and 13 were on services, online sales, obviously. The pandemic determined a rapid acceleration on the product side, basically +8 billion only in 2020, so that's a +45% if compared to 2019, while in the same period we saw a very strong contraction of online sales of services, -50% if compared to 2019, as obviously business physically shut down for a period and made savings over external non-strictly necessary costs. In 2021, the growth of online sales for products shows a significant growth. That's a +17% if compared to 2020, growing per se on over 30 billion euros. In the same period, services sold online grew 35%, so partially rebounding from 2020, but still close to what we had in 2016, so with a lot of space to grow on that pattern as well. This trend confirms that Italy is trying and will actually, in the foreseeable future, close its gap with international peers, and that the change on the online spending attitude is radical and it includes all purchases areas. This market trend is fully reflected on what happened in Commerce Group, within Commerce Group in the years 2020 and 2021. If you can, thanks. So within the above mentioned market dynamics, Comarch, through organic investments and progressive integration with Quirio, has increased its offer portfolio by adding to the traditional sales and development consulting a multi-channel approach, especially based on digital marketing declination. As you may remember, Comarch, in the lows of its core business in 2020s, reacted by investing in the acquisition of a majority stake in Quirio, a leading company, nowadays it's an ex-startup, in the Italian digital marketing arena that concentrates on clients' continuous growth by leveraging on data integration, automation, and analysis to maximize its client ROI. Basically, to set it clear, a bunch of engineers applied to digital marketing. Comarch positioning takes full advantage of this strategic investment and today offers services for SMEs and medium enterprises. For the SME sectors, Comar offers on the business advisory consultancy for the sales development in Italy and abroad through our consolidated temporary export specialists throughout Italy. Whilst on the marketing advisory, we offer digital presence, lead generation, e-commerce and market strategies tailored to specific SMEs' needs. And we do this using an integrated approach with Queria, where we are close to the clients on their sites, and we help them provide services tailored to their specific needs. Today, we offer both standalone services in this area, sales and marketing consultancy or digital marketing. We offer bundled services. We do that obviously when we do upsell on our existing client base. And most importantly, we started selling natively integrated services that are designed with the expertise of Comarch and Queria. It is important to notice in this area that we have been teaming up together with For Value, the company that was mentioned earlier before by my colleagues, and that after its acquisition by Tinexta and Innolva, have basically positioned Comarch Group as the digital marketing service provider for its client base. And we started as of January 2022, and we have already some hundreds of thousands in pipeline that we're working on nowadays. Going to the large enterprise sectors, just a second, Comarch offers on the business advisory, offers strategic market analysis and e-commerce setup. And then on marketing advisor, we concentrate only in the digital marketing arena, offering consultancy for the development on integrated digital marketing strategies aimed at optimizing the performance of customers' investments on omni-channel digital environment. Thank you very much. I'll leave the word to Joseph.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you, Fiorenzo. As you may have seen during the presentation of Fiorenzo and Marco, we have really several actions undergoing here, and you know, it's a very complex environment, but the companies are performing very well. So if we look at the revenue over, already this year we made a quite important growth here. Closing the year not far from 100 million euro revenue and more than 40 million euro, more than 41 million euro EBITDA, that it means a very high profitability here. Over the next 3 years, if we do not include the acquisition of Evalue, we do expect it to grow at a very interesting rate that is basically 7%. Obviously, with a different rate expected from digital marketing that is expected to grow a little bit more rapidly than the other part of the business, but still, overall, a quite significant growth. If we add the acquisition of Evalue, the growth is above, is double digit, is above, is 11% per year growth. In terms of profitability, for the next year is expected a quite strong increase. As Fiorenzo mentioned here, basically, this year has been, the 2021 has been partially affected by the new percentage that were recognized to our customers from the law, and therefore, our revenue was a little bit impacted, even though we were able to increase the revenue on absolute basis. For next year, we do expect a strong growth for Warrant, as well as, Comarch and Querio combined to deliver a significant growth too. For the following years, the growth is a little bit more smooth, but overall, we do expect to grow 5% on a like-for-like basis and 10% per year, including the acquisition of Evalue that has been performed in January.
Thank you, Oddone. At this point, Oddone and I will go over the business plan 2022 pillars. I'll start with the pillars, and then Oddone will go over the shareholders' return from a financial standpoint. Let me turn to page 55. On slide 55, we provide, a quantitative/qualitative approach on the business plan. In particular, we wanted to highlight 6 of the primary pillars, starting from the first one being strengthen our leadership in our reference market. As you all know, going to the second pillar, the group as overall continues to leverage on strong organic growth. We will give an overview of the selective M&A that was carried out in the prior years, as well as what we expect in the next couple of years throughout the plan horizon. The fourth pillar, which is a pivotal one, because we're talking about increasing integration following primarily the amount of M&A that was carried out, in particular in the last 18 months. There is going to be an overlook on the fifth pillar, both on the people and organization, as well as provide to the market a key update in terms of ESG, in terms of where we stand and where we expect to go in the next 3 years. The sixth pillar is all about laser-focused financial policy, and I'll give a qualitative/quantitative view of the Piano Nazionale di Ripresa e Resilienza, which is obviously a big key item of the next couple of years. Turning to page 56, we want to do a deep dive in terms of strengthening our leadership in our reference market. In particular, that means going into a strong strengthening of our market presence in the following verticals, talking about obviously digital trust, which is a much more rounded company. We talked about the strong consolidation that has happened in terms of cybersecurity last year and obviously in the next years to come. That follows digital innovation as well as digital marketing. We've been asked the question many times, are we planning to grow our presence in the public administration market? The answer is a big yes. Obviously, the scope, the time, and the speed with which that happens will primarily be dictated by the economic development in the next couple of months. But in particular, in terms of the group, we tend to foster cross-sectional strategies, strategic initiatives. In particular, we talked about, and Danilo mentioned, the open innovation, which is a key, activity that we plan to do. It particularly embeds looking at the digital startups that can be of high value-added services to the group as a whole. We are fostering the academy both at a group level as well as a business unit level, which involves, creating a leadership of and a culture of digitalization. That includes employees as a whole. It includes also professionals. It includes university students, and it involves also participants to the SME world today. Going to the second pillar, while it is always, or is probably obvious, but the group operates in very strong organic growth segments. Tinexta is obviously has a strong momentum currently. We are operating, we saw the different business units. Most of the business units are either growing double digits or they are growing high single digits, which is an absolute attractive rate. The group is constantly offering and fine-tuning its offer to better adapt to customers' needs, as Pier Andrea said at the beginning of the presentation. Going to the third pillar, and we've been talking about how Tinexta has been carrying out M&A. It is part of the DNA of the group. Throughout the end of 2020, all the way to the most recent, beginning weeks of February, we carried out a significant amount of M&A. Here are some of the most important ones which we excessively talked about throughout the presentation. But this is to say that we carried out major M&A activities in all 4 of the business units. But when Tinexta carries out M&A, what do? We have very stringent criteria. We highlighted 5, which are the most important ones. The company or the potential target needs to be operating in a solid business fundamental. It needs to be in a growing market. As we saw, both eValue as well as CertEurope were growing double digits versus prior year performance. And in particular, the group has the ability to cherry pick its businesses at a worldwide level, in particular at a European level, given the fact that we are strongly increasing our internationalization. But that needs to follow and fit into a specific criteria, which is the strategic fit as well as the finish. By that, we say that the company or the target needs to have a set of products and services that make a lot of sense from a strategic standpoint. For example, CERT Europe as well as eValue are a perfect complementary companies in terms of portfolio. They have very strong relationships in the reference market. They operate very strongly both in France and Germany and Spain. So they obviously have a strong DNA of fit, in order for them to be of high value. The fourth pillar here is about having a disciplined financial policy. When we say that, it means that we buy companies that are profitable. We talked about some EBITDA margins. In the case of CERT Europe, we're talking about an EBITDA margin that is in the range of 37%. In the case of eValue, it's actually 50% EBITDA margin. So these are cash flow generative deals that we buy, and they pay themselves throughout the time horizon of the actual plan. Going into our fourth pillar, we're talking about increase in integration. We talked about how many M&A deals have been carried out in the last 18 months, and it is now pivotal to increase integration. And the way we're doing that is by having a centralized CRM. So centralized CRM means we have a centralized directory with customer relationship management covering over 52,000 small, medium enterprises at a group level. That means that we don't want to overwhelm our customers. We want to provide them with the right service, the right product that best fits the Tinexta ecosystem. That means that group sales and marketing enable a centralized and coordinated development in terms of integrated offer. So the go-to market is clear and crystal clear for everyone else. We want to streamline following, obviously, the For-Value deal in the world of Valerio. The For-Value channel is going to be an absolute important one. We want to outreach to over, throughout the plan horizon to over 150,000 small, medium enterprises. It is our priority to increase operational synergies ever more, given the complexity with which the organization has now reached in terms of size. We want to simplify the corporate structure. We have bought many companies, so we are planning to do that in the next 3 years, as well as increase and improve the post-M&A integration portion, also with, for example, the great help that will come also from strategic partners like Regal. Going into the fifth pillar, it's about people and organization. I think the numbers speak very clearly here. We did a huge jump between 2020 and 2021 numbers. The big jump is obviously coming from the exquisite business unit of cybersecurity, increasing over 750 employees versus the prior year. But obviously, the higher growth of employment, which has been majorly driven by and entirely by M&A, provides for us to overlook the entire project analysis as well as redefining certain processes. These processes include organization and integration of process, the corporate academy, which we stressed heavily, but in particular, fostering the leadership culture, both from managers all the way to staff functions, sustainability plans, which I will speak to in the next slide, and obviously having a very competitive compensation policies to continue to attract talent. ESG has been, a big deal throughout the recent couple of years, and we would like to bring Tinexta to the next level by saying that we're talking about the key accomplishments that we did in 21. We have started from a compliance side all the way to an engagement of ESG. This needs to become a paramount, I would say, element of the company overall. We carried out and performed a benchmark ESG, in particular in a gap analysis, to better understand the positioning of Tinexta versus the market. We referenced main indexes that are highlighted here: global reporting initiatives, UN, the MSCI. So we're looking at the best and the brightest in terms of indexes, and it is our priority to set out a roadmap, which we highlighted here on the bottom center part of this slide. So we're talking about human rights, we're talking about ESG KPIs in the compensation of key managers, on environment policies, in the academy, and all the CO2 monitoring system, as well as all the policies which are the framework of ESG. From 2022 and beyond, we highlight the key verticals of both environment, social, and governance, and we have an ambitious plan to go in the next couple of years. But the key takeaway for the market is that we are actively pursuing a key goal for ESG. Let me talk about the sixth pillar, which is all about laser-focused financial policy. We continue to foster and to obviously focus on cash flow. Cash is king is the approach that our CFO loves to have, and we continue to go in that direction. We continue to have attractive leverage ratio, also provided the Bregal's investment, and therefore our pro forma leverage is extremely competitive. There's a strong attention to cost and an enviable cost of debt, which Oddone will deep dive in a second. And our market itself and the actual predictability of the cash flow allows for strong shareholder return when it comes down to continue, looking at Tinexta's equity story. The PNRR, I know a lot of questions may come on that side, so we want to tackle the question straight on. We want to give you a quantitative/qualitative answer here. Obviously, the Piano di Resilienza is going to be a big deal in the next months to come. The numbers are extraordinary. 235 billion are dedicated to Italy, and the main allocations are found on the right of this slide. Top priority is green transition, followed by, little did you know, the digital world. So the digitalization is a priority. But we want to be very clear here. Tinexta will benefit from the plan in an indirect way. We cannot control the speed, the scope, and the amount, obviously, of the PNR that will be allocated the next months to come. We will take advantage of it in an indirect way. The primary sources and opportunities stem from private and public tenders, partnerships, which we discussed heavily throughout the presentation, as well as public administration's requests for proposals. I will wrap it up with this last slide on the Piano Nazionale, where there are 4 critical aspects, that deserve a top priority. Low digitalization in the economy. Italy ranks 25th in Europe, so we are obviously an underdog. We need to be a follower and trying to get back in that ranking. There is a strong skill shortage of that. Italy ranks 25th, and there are delays, little did you know, in the public administration. We rank last. We rank 28 out of 28 in European Union, and obviously there is the last key critical aspect is also the lack of digitalization in the small medium enterprises, where we lack 22nd. At this point, I will leave it to Oddone, who will go over the priorities for a superior shareholder return. Oddone?
Okay, thank you, Joseph. And so let's walk into the last segment of our presentation. A couple of hours has already gone, so I will try to go through and try to represent here. So definitely, we have some priorities for superior shareholder return. Definitely continue growing quality revenue is for us a key point and key. So either we are present in markets that are fast growing, like digital trust of cybersecurity, or we are present in markets that are growing a little bit less, but with very high profitability, that are, credit information and management, as well as innovation and marketing service. So we will continue this growth in quality revenue. Our plan foresees, an improvement of the operational efficiency in each business unit of the group. This we have seen during the presentation of the different business units. This is a key point for us. Definitely, with the numbers that we will show later on as a whole, definitely we are expecting an improvement in the earnings per share, as well as in the growing the dividend per share. And this will allow, definitely the shareholder meeting is going to take the final decision, but the results that we are planning to deliver are offering this important opportunity. And we will continue to be focused on strong cash generation. Our group, as we have seen, was able to continue to invest and to deleverage year after year. And also this year, the group was able to invest for more than 200 million euro in just one single year, keeping a robust balance sheet and keeping the debt EBITDA ratio under strict control. Organic growth is expected to be strong. We have seen through the different markets that we presented, we do expect to grow basically very, very close to double digit year on year. And, we are going to reinforce definitely our market share in most of the business unit and in order to defend our market share. As we have seen, we expect to grow in all business units. M&A is going to be, again, very strategic for us. We already shared with you all that the group has performed several M&A deals over the years, and all of them has been very successful, and we were able to do this. Definitely here we are facing a new paradigm as we are going abroad. So, but we set very clear targets, and we set the proper organization in order to follow up on this. We entered France already in IMS and Digital Trust, as well as Spain, and we are aiming to further grow in other countries. From the financial standpoint, we are ready. That as with the structure of our financial, our balance sheet, we are able to face other opportunities. So we are expecting to grow on organic basis, high single digit, really close to double digit, and including the acquisition we already performed, able to grow in the revenue in low double digit over the period 20 to 24. Our drivers of profitability. Definitely, all our business units are very well positioned in order to improve the profitability. So we expect, as we have seen, Digital Trust increasing the profitability over the period. This will be done definitely combining local operational leverage together with the international scale that will help this. Cross-selling and potential synergies is very important. We already have seen this opportunity in place among different views, especially if we look between Digital Trust and cybersecurity. But also with for value, we do expect to improve this and to deliver this synergy. On the other side, we are working in trying to optimize our horizontal platforms. You know that the group has, since the early beginning, has set a horizontal platform that are able to enable, the same set of information between companies, but with Salesforce, for example, and the CRM, we are aiming to improve the capability to go-to-market to our clients in a much more integrated way, and this will help us. We are investing also in the new SAP HANA that will allow us to improve our processes and providing us better performances in terms of cost on the revenue management. The fuel for growth is definitely related to people. In all the presentation of our my colleagues and Pier Andrea was clear that the people, we are delivering services, and delivering services is key for us having the right people. Through the hiring or through the acquisition we are performing, definitely we are looking to the best people helping us to deliver the best services. So, we have very clear policies of attracting, rewarding, and retaining talent, and we are working very strong on this. We are working at the same time in the change management that is a key point to help us to grow, and we are developing a leadership in a cohesive way. In terms of profitability, again, we expect to grow on organic basis in low double digit, and this is a very key and challenging point, and based on the acquisition we have done, to grow mid double digit over a 22-24 period, considering, as I said, the announced M&A deals. For the rest, I would say that in terms of going down to the net income of the group, D&A ratios will be in line with prior years. We do expect investment in terms of CapEx slightly higher in 2022 as we are supporting you know, basically three main projects. Digital Trust with InfoCert is going to improve its transition, partial transition to the cloud, and this is one part of the investment. Definitely also Warrant is working quite a lot in improving the digitalization of the Salesforce activity, and on the central function, we are still investing in improving the Salesforce activity as well as the SAP performance. Financial expected are, you know, we were able during the time to have an all-in average cost of debt in slightly above 1%. This is something very interesting for us. We have a maturity period of 4 years of our debt, and on top of that, you know, 88% of our interest rates are covered. So we are not facing any material risk on this, and it's putting us in a very strong position to continue the M&A path. In terms of taxes, you know, we are trying to get benefit as we have done this year, where the opportunity from the law are there, but we do expect, and we have a very low permanent difference compared to other companies. So the dividend per share has grown during the period quite materially, and we do expect them to grow further, and as the earning per share are going to increase over the period again. Operating cash flow, we were able in the last 2 years to materially improve our operating cash flow, partially driven by the growth of the EBITDA, as well as through a strict management of the net working capital. You have to consider that, for example, even in 2021, with the revenue going up by 100 million euro, basically we were able to still generate some cash on the net working capital. This has been driven by a very focused strategy on receivable management, as well as you know, the sales policy, for example, from InfoCert that foresee, you know, a cash in before delivering the services. We will continue in this case. I already talked about the CapEx, and as for M&A, if we look at the current position of the company, that if we do include the share capital, the first part of the share capital increase of InfoCert done by Bregal, and we look forward, we can estimate that over the next 3 years, keeping the ratio EBITDA debt around 2 times, still the group has more than 200 million euro of firepower for potential investment. This is very important. This is possible as the group has a very strong EBITDA conversion rate that will help to do this. So we will continue our strategy to perform M&A in selected international countries, as well as we may perform M&A deals also in Italy to complete our offer or to strengthen our business unit that are operating on the local markets. Without M&A and offering to the shareholder a very interesting return, we do expect by 2024 to go on a ratio debt EBITDA below 1 time, probably in the middle between 0.5 and 1 time. Well, we are now to the financial targets. Try to sum up everything we share together today. Revenues on organic basis are in 2022 are so basically expected to grow in the range of 10-12% versus prior year, while the EBITDA adjusted in the range of 8-10% versus prior year. This is a very strong, you know, target that we set. If we consider also the acquisition, we do expect basically to be in the range of 18-20% growth versus prior year, and including the acquisition in the range of 2022. So, we do expect to land by the end of 2022 in the range of net financial position EBITDA adjusted in the range of 2. That is a very good starting point in order to plan further M&A deals. If we include the acquisition and we look at 2024, we do expect basically to grow in the revenue of low double digit and the EBITDA mid double digit. That is a very strong and challenging target, and to land in net financial position EBITDA adjusted basically between 0.5 and 1 time the EBITDA. Well, I think this is, basically this is what we share. So we leave to you, a little bit more details, but this is our plans. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we will wrap it up with some very quick closing remarks, and then I will leave it to Q&A. Remember, you have the option of raising your hand in the Zoom platform so we can target directly your questions. Very quickly, closing remarks are: growth path is secure with a robust fundamentals, clear business plan, and strong management commitment, which I think was very clear today, having all management available for you. M&A is already in place for further supportive expansion. 2022-2024 confirms sustained revenue growth, further growth and profitability, as well as a strong deleverage, as Oddone just mentioned. And the group, we think, is very well positioned to continue to pursue its growth via external lines. At this point, we will leave the floor to any Q&A. A reminder is that we will accept questions from the financial community. That means mostly from the analysts, so please go ahead. I think there's already one from Renato Gargiulo, who we can, at this point, let the analysts talk, please. Can we hear? Yeah? Can you speak, Renato? Can you?
Non lo sentiamo.
Is his line open? È aperta la linea? Sì, ovviamente. Non sta parlando. Okay, let's go to the next one from Russell Poynton from Edison.
Good morning, all. Sorry, good afternoon, all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Russell. Can hear you.
Hi, a few questions, please, if that's okay. First of all, on digital trust, you've increased your guidance back to 10% for the next 3 years. I think when you did this presentation last year, the outlook was for 7% on a 3-year basis. So could you just talk about what has driven that upgrade? Is it, is it the improved outlook for the economy because of the vaccines, that kind of thing? But obviously, as you referenced earlier, life may be a bit more challenging given the conflict going on in Europe at the moment. My second question is on cybersecurity. I think your revenue was a bit below what you were expecting for FY21, but the EBITDA was just above. Could you just talk about why the revenue was probably slightly below what you expected? And my third question is, during the year, that's the deal with Intesa Sanpaolo, which was supposed to be very positive for the growth outlook for IMS and in the CIM business. But if you look at the actual growth rates you're projecting for the next 3 years for those two businesses, they're a bit below what we had this time last year. So should that not have been a bit more accretive to the growth outlook for both divisions? Thanks very much.
Thanks, Russell. I will take the one from Digital Trust, and then Marco, and then Oddone.
Hi, Russell. Basically, our growth forecast is based on recurring revenue model and on many orders that we signed in the very last few months of 2021. So it's true that last year we forecasted 7 and actually we overachieved that percentage, and is equally challenging the 10% because we have solid contracts with which we trust we will achieve or overachieve those numbers.
For what regards cybersecurity, the revenue, I think it's strong. So our expectation has been beaten, and I think what we have seen in terms of growth, it's very significant, especially when we consider the orders of the backlog we have created. So we consider the 2021 as a good year.
Good afternoon, Russell. Going to the question on for value, you are right. You know, the for value is not included as we presented the different views on a standalone basis, same perimeter, or with the acquisition that we already performed in CertEurope and Evalue. For value is included definitely in our consolidated plan. As of today, we confirmed into our group plan the figures that we shared with the financial community at the time of the acquisition. So basically, our goal is a long-term goal. You know, as we share with the market, is to deliver more than 50 million euro with a profitability coherent with the profitability of the group. We will have, you know, the start of the year, the first 6 months was just a warm-up of the activities. We do expect some profit coming from for value during 2022, but you know, the real growth is expected to start on 23, 24, and to achieve the goals that we set by 2025. You were right when you said that we do expect the benefit of for value being delivered mostly on innovation and marketing services and partially on credit information and management. We have to consider that a small portion of Intesa for Value business was already in the accounts of Warrant, as Warrant already was in partnership with For Value. In any case, as of today, the targets we shared with the market are confirmed, and the figures are included at the group level.
Great. The next question, we can leave it to Renato, if he can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear
now,
me?
yes. Go ahead, Renato.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Before I couldn't. Quickly, my first question actually is on digital trust and on your M&A strategy in Europe. Following the CertEurope acquisition, well, now you were referring to UK, Germany, and Spain as potential markets for international expansion and for M&A. So I can suppose that in France you are already okay with your last acquisitions, which on which it seems that you are proceeding well in terms of integration. And related to this and to international expansion in terms of business mix, can we expect an acceleration in the weight of the enterprise solutions versus off-the-shelf products going forward over the plan period? Then second question is on your strategy to increase penetration with the public administration. I was just wondering if you can give us any more color on that. What could be the most effective way to do it? I can imagine through more partnerships or by focusing on your dedicated sales force with the public administration. And a very last question is on the Italian recovery plan. So you very clearly you pointed out that your business plan targets are not including any impact from the recovery plan, but you expect a positive contribution going forward. Just from a general standpoint, if you can give us an indication about the timing and if we can assume any positive impact starting already from this year, probably from the second semester of this year. Thank you.
Hi, Renato. Sorry, it was very hard to listen your voice. There was some background noise. So if I remember correctly, the list of your questions, First, if we are satisfied with the M&A for the moment in France, the answer is yes, because we are going very well in the integration process. Having said that, we of course are always open to consolidate the market, because as you have seen from my graph, we are by far the largest operator in Europe, and there is plenty of economies of scale for this kind of solution if a significant opportunity will arise, and we, just to mention, are watching a couple of opportunities per week. Of course, we are open to discuss and even consider having a second operation in France. Then, if I remember correctly, the second question was if it's accelerating the enterprise solution segment of our offer. The answer is yes. Just to mention, we have won only in December a significant tender in Colombia with Colpensiones, is the equivalent of the Security Social or INPS, to use an Italian terms, for Colombia. We have won tenders in Europe, and some of them are still under discussion, but it looks like we are the #1 in pole position to be awarded the tender. So there, of course, the scalability is much higher. Once we have an enterprise customer, we have significant revenue in a few months after the sign of the contract. The PA is growing after years where, as you have seen also from the graphs, the Italian PA and the European PA, unfortunately, has been, digitalizing their processes very slowly, due mostly to regulation. Now, the only way to enable the smart working also for the public sector is to enable a digital front end, with the opportunity to recognize the identity of the citizen and to let them make transactions, basically sign a request. So for that, we have the solution. We have been working with banks on the same process for years now, for 5 years now. So we trust that there will be a significant uptaking of this market. Last, I leave my colleagues to discuss about PNRR.
Thank you, Danilo. So in terms of the Piano Nazionale di Ripresa e Resilienza, we mentioned the fact that obviously there is going to be a strong impact for Italy, but we don't have control of the size, the scope, and the amounts of the investment. And, to answer your question, Renato, it's hard to say if it will be 2022, we hope, but we don't have a clear set map because it's, again, out of our control. It really depends on those public tenders, when they will be obviously carried out. As you all recall, right now, there is obviously a big priority, which is also outside the boundaries of Italy. So let's see what happens, but we're very positive on this. I think from a market standpoint, from the company standpoint, the fact that we did not include anything in terms of the plan within our numbers means that anything that will come our way will be an upside versus anything else. If you guys have any other questions, I don't see a queue in terms of the question. Okay, I see Gabriele. So Gabriele Berti from Banca IMI can go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my question. I have a couple of questions. The first one, I would like to understand if the net financial position on an EBITDA target of 2 times for 2022 include or not the euro 100 million cash in related to the capital increase related to the equity partnership with Bregal Milestone. And then second question, can you please explain why there are 42 million difference between adjusted EBITDA and EBIT, while the sum of everything between adjusted EBITDA and EBIT was only 25 million in the 9 months results? Why there are such a huge difference from full year and 9 month results?
Okay, here I am, Gabriele. The first question is in 2 times is included the first step of the share capital increase of Bregal. As we stated during the announcement of the deal, basically 100 million euro should have put into the company in 2 steps. The first step also occurred in February 22, and then Bregal has the opportunity to inject and to acquire other percentage of InfoShare in 1 year time. So this includes only 70 million euro. The second question is, if you look between EBITDA and EBIT, so basically we have computed during Q4 the amount of 7.4 million euro related to the PPA of the acquisition of the 3 companies in the cybersecurity as well as Querio. This is something that definitely is going to reduce the profitability, but on the other hand is reducing also the goodwill that we have in our balance sheet. For the plan, basically, we are including all the PPA for the future. So this is something that was obviously from one side expected, and we have also restated the figures, not including the effect of the PPA. If you look at the net income adjustment, is gonna improve, excluding the PPA and other non-recurring item, the net income is improving by 20% year on year. And we will give a full disclosure of this during after the full package approval that will occur on March 17.
So you have to expect 7.4 million per year of additional PPA
yes,
also in the coming
yes.
years.
Related to acquisitions performed during 2021.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And just if I can, a very quick follow-up regarding the first questions. So include 70 million cash in from Bregal Milestone, but does not include any further cash out related to future M&A?
Absolutely, absolutely.
No. Okay.
It includes obviously the acquisition that we performed in January, the acquisition on a value for which we posted 31 million financial debt, 21 million already cash out, and 11 million of put and call that we posted into the net financial position.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Gabriele.
Thanks, Gabriele. I think we have a question from Carlo Maritano from Intermonte. If you can go ahead, Carlo.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I just have a couple of questions. The first one is on the personnel side. I was wondering if you are seeing any wage inflation, especially in the digital sector, given the quite important competition from other companies and the growth expected in the market. The second one is on Autada, the German company. I was wondering how is performing this investment, if you're willing to increase your stake next year when you will have the right to exercise this option. And the third one is on credit information. Given the change in the competition, in the competitive scenario, and the fact that it is growing less than the other sectors, if you're willing to dispose of this business unit in case you receive any offer from the other competitors. Thank you.
Oddone, you will go over.
Start with Autada.
Yeah.
On the personal.
Hi. Autada is going well, but behind plan for the simple reason that their major product is one of the capable of extracting information from the German electronic ID card. This kind of usage is mostly at the branch, so they are, let's say, going digital, but still in presence. Namely, they are working with large banks, with travel agencies and insurance. For this reason, they are not yet performing as in the plan. Basically, they are at least 1 year delay due to the COVID that in Germany, as in Italy and all over Europe, created a delay. We will be evaluating. We have a strong call with very, let's say, advantageous terms for InfoCert. So we will be evaluating the evolution of their sales and revenue for 2022. And then we have a significant call at the end of 2022 with the approval of their numbers. We can have the call, we can decide not to have the call, or we can decide to postpone 1 year our evaluation just to let them, improve their numbers before deciding. So this is the current situation.
Thank you.
Maybe I try to give you feedback on the, let's say, inflation of personnel costs. Obviously, inflation is not part of this plan as a big matter, but we have to consider that, the cost of goods sold or material are very low in the P&L of Tinexta Group. So we do not expect major impact. If we move to the personnel, I will split this in two parts. The first part, quite important pressure on hiring and cost of personnel for digital profiles was already there. So I would say that a normal impact on this is already reflected in our plans. And as we mentioned, we already set up interesting packages for attracting people or for retraining people. If we are talking about a potential impact of the inflation of our personnel costs, this is a much broader matter that we will see how this will develop down the road.
So there was another question on the CIEM business unit. As we've been very, very clear on this, this is an important part of our business. I think that it's worth mentioning the fact that the economic or the competitive scenario in the past 18 months has somewhat changed. We are the number 3 player in Italy. We know very well the first two. So obviously we are evaluating any rationalization of our business unit even more so than we did in the past. I think that's probably the best answer to the question. And for the time being, let's also remind everyone that this is a business that is generating 29% of EBITDA. So I think I will leave it at that. Thank you. We have another question from Andrea Bonfa. If you can go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
Now, very quickly, it's related to, again, credit information and management. The 6% top line growth rate that you mentioned as a, let's say, growth target for the next 3 years. Shall we understand that there is a material contribution from for value and a decline in the existing business, or is it just, shall we take it at face value? So the growth is coming from for value. And the second one, I need to be sure if I understood correctly. I mean, in your target for net financial position of the current year, 2022, the 2 times EBITDA, which, if I understood correctly, includes the 70 million proceeds from the disposal of the digital trust component. Doing a quick and dirty calculation, it seems that you do not generate cash if I start from the 263 of this year. So I do 263 minus 70. And then if I do the 2 times net financial position EBITDA, there doesn't seem to me any free cash flow generation, which will be strange for your profile and history, sorry.
Andrea, this is not the case. I tried to go through the explanation. You have to consider that from the 263, we already performed the acquisitions, like I said, of Evalio for more than 30 million euro. Then we have a yearly adjustment that is in a range of 5-6 million euro of, let's say, the put and call adjustment that every year has to be adjusted of this. Then we have the dividend distribution. And in this year, starting from 2022, we will have also third party in the share capital of Innolva, as well as in the share capital of Infocert. And on top of that, you have to consider that we will continue our plan of buyback of shares. So putting everything together, this is where we plan to land. So you have to consider this. On top of that, last thing is that we are going to consolidate our real estate activities that we have in Milan, where we have 6 different locations. We already planned to concentrate all the activity in one single building here in Milan. And you know, by IFRS 16, you have to put the cost for the period of the contract of the rents. And this is another activity. While doing this, obviously, we are already acquiring the space for the future growth of the group. So basically, we are, let's say, in one way, anticipating some debt for the future that would have been come during the period. So if you add all these things, you see how we will continue to generate in the range of more than 60 million euro cash from the operations compared to the 55 of this year. So there will be still an increase of operational cash flow, and then you have to deduct all these items.
Thanks.
You're welcome. The other question, sorry, was just
No,
this.
there was
That's
the
it.
question on the credit management, credit information management.
On the credit management, like I said before, we presented the different business unit on same perimeter basis. So this does not include the performance of for value. The growth in the revenue of the credit information and management business units is driven by the continuous growth of Revaluta that is expected to grow over the next 3 years, as well as some actions that are planned in credit information and management. As Valerio already explained, we expect to grow in the corporate area. This is one of the stream of our growth, as well as we expect to recover some position in the finance area. So these are the main driver of the growth. That is the combination of the growth from value and the growth from Innolva.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
At this point, we don't have any further questions. We wanted to thank you for participating to this presentation. We do have someone. Okay, go ahead. Isacco from Mediobanca, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick questions from my side. The first one is on underlying growth assumptions for innovation and marketing. There were an amazing number of opportunities mentioned during the call, but when I look at your business plan assumptions, I see, let me say, just a 7% CAGR targeted for the next years, which is slightly below the target unveiled last year in February 2021. So I'm just wondering which is the degree of caution on this forecast, whether this is just driven by the current macroeconomic context, which is highly uncertain. And the second question is just a follow-up on D&As. Going forward, should we expect at current perimeter these 40 million euros D&A on average to be somehow the rule even for the next years through 2024?
Okay, I try to go through the question. First of all, I think when you look at innovation and marketing services, you mentioned that the guidance over the next 3 years is slightly lower than what we shared last year. This is true, but you have to consider that now we are talking about including 2024 compared to the previous plan that was 21-23. 24 as of today is, as you may see also from the graphs there, is a little bit flat compared to 23. This has been driven basically by the current rules of the budget law that we have. This current rule for 2024 basically is foreseeing a lower interesting rates for the investor in a return for the investor. So in a prudent way, even though we feel that probably by 2024 there will be an improvement back to 2023 rules, as of today they are not there. But you have to, so basically the growth from, you may see that 22, there is a big jump in terms of profitability of warrant, that is the main driver there. And then there is a little bit more smooth curve. You know, we will update as soon as we will have a better information of that, but still this is the situation. But again, this is including the 24 that was not in the previous plan.
You have any other?
The other question was?
Isacco, what was the other question? DNA, if 40 million is to be considered?
The DNA, let's put in this way. You know, this year we move from 21 average up to 28, driven by the 7 million that I mentioned before related to the acquisition of cybersecurity and Quirio. For 22 going on, we do expect to move up to 33, let's say. You know, we did not yet perform the purchase price allocation, but we made an estimate, and let's say that, so the average with this level of acquisition is gonna be 33, 34 million.
Okay, super clear. Many thanks, Oddone.
Thank you to you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Russell, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. Just a quick follow-up on IMS, and it may be related to the last question. You're guiding to a general drift down in the IMS margin with lower revenue growth, lower margin growth and revenue growth over the next 3 years. Is that due to mix, or is it based on the FY24 answer that you gave earlier?
I try to answer to your question, Russell. You are right. There is a slight decline of the overall EBITDA margin. The first driver is the revenue mix. Quirio and Comarch are growing faster than Warrant. Although, you know, we are enjoying very good EBITDA margin from Quirio, and Comarch definitely is not the 48% EBITDA margin of Warrant. This is the first reason. The second reason is related to what I pointed out before. So two things. In order to guarantee a strong growth in terms of revenue, you know, Fiorenzo and its team are working to develop new revenue lines that Fiorenzo explained very well during its presentation. Obviously, this revenue line, although they are very, very profitable, they have not the profitability of, you know, the Finanza Agevolata Automatica. So basically, this is the revenue mix. But if we look in absolute term, you know, the EBITDA of Warrant is continuously growing, and this is what is important, because this is what is generating cash at the end of the day.
Thank you. I don't think we have any other questions. At this point, I will wrap it up, and thank you for connecting to Tinexta's 21 preliminary results and 22-24 business plan. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.